Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of my F1 2018 career mode. Today we are here for round 5 for the Spanish Grand Prix. But first of all, as you can see, we are selecting a brand new rival in the form of Esteban Ocon starting the European season. As you can see also, upgrade wise, Force India are now the top dogs with Ferrari in second, and we've dropped down to third place, and Toro Rosso currently fourth, and Mercedes starting to drop off now quite substantially, and Renault are really closing in on silver arrows there in terms of development, and Mercedes are slipping away. Williams also on a very strong development path at the moment. But all in all, if you guys did miss the last race at Baku, then I do urge you to go check that one out by clicking the card in the top right hand corner of your screen to see how we got to this particular point and what exactly happened in the land of fire. But today we're here for the Spanish Grand Prix, like I mentioned, and straight away we're going to delve into Friday practice. Now, in itself, the session went really well. I was quite happy with the balance of the car. The setup was good, and you could tell I was happy to be here in Spain because it's the start of the European season, and it's the start of the time when I know my car will be more competitive and we can have some better races. And to be fair, that showed in practice. You can't see the practice program results on screen, but I can tell you that we did succeed in all of them. It was a really good session for us, and everything worked out okay. The only thing we did fail in was the qualifying performance test. I think it was like a 10th off, but still good pace, and it was very close. The only issue, and the reason why I can't show you what happened in terms of the results and the points we got on screen, is because we actually crashed at the end of FP1. You'll see in a moment's time, just got a little bit loose out of turn 9 and lost the back end. But basically, once you crash, you retire from the session, and you can't take a screenshot of the practice results. So I just moved straight to qualifying after that session. But all in all, the car still felt great. I had a lot of confidence, and you know, the setup as well helped. The fact if you've got a good setup underneath you, the car will always work well. But as you can see, here's the moment we get on the curb and straight into the wall, and the end of our session there in practice. But still, I'm not going to let that get me down. I still got a lot of confidence, and I feel confident that we can do well in the qualifying session and try and do well, and hopefully get out of Q1 for the first time this season. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. So let's see how it goes. Straight away in Q1, we went out on the super soft compound tyres, the fastest available compound. Sector 1, 2 tenths down, not too shabby, as we now move on towards the end of the second sector, and the lap was still going pretty well here. Lost a little bit of time though compared to Sector 1. Sector 2 was definitely a funny one because it's normally my strongest sector in the Toro Rosso, but not so much in this car. And also Sector 3 especially, I was really poor. Even though you think the Red Bull will be really fast around here, Sector 3 is my weakest sector on the entire track. We go P13, eventually ending the session in P14 and getting through into Q2 for the first time in the season. I was so happy, and finally we're showing signs of progress, which is absolutely awesome. And straight away in Q2 then, the first Q2 of the season, we go out on the soft compound tyres to get a banker lap. We go P14, quite a way off the pace, and we go back out on a fresh set of the super soft compound tyres. We're going to ride on board now for an entire lap of the Circuit de Catalunya. So straight away, we're up on the delta here. Racing down to turn 1, you're looking for the 50 metre board. Realistically, you want to try and bring the car to the left and brake just before the 50, down at fourth gear, really attack the curb, avoid the curb on the inside there if possible. I get a little bit too greedy, and that inside curb can really ruin your lap and spin you off very easily. Luckily, we got away unscathed, flat out through 3 as we now go to turn 4, opening up the track as much as you can, really bring the car in for a late apex on the power as soon as you dare, using the curb on the left if necessary, as we now go down the gears, down the hill, and bring the car to the left for the turn 5 hairpin here. A little bit of patience on the throttle as we now go into 7 and 8 as we now go through this nice little chicane section. Important to keep it within track limits. And now through turn 9, the bit where we crashed in practice, absolutely no troubles here in qualifying, carrying a lot of speed through the corner as we now look for the 100 metre board, brake just before it, down to third/second gear for the hairpin, rotate the car, get on the power nice and early. Be careful through here to not lose the back end as we now keep the car nice and tight to the inside through the swooping right. And now only 4 more corners to go here. First of all, starting with the right hand corner here, feeding into the left right chicane. Very important to really attack the curbs here to maximise lap time. Avoid the curb on the left on traction input, on exit, and we now go through the gears, open DRS, and that's a lap of the Spanish Grand Prix circuit. And we do actually get through into Q3, a really good lap there, and I was very happy. Our first Q3 of the season, and I'm ecstatic. Really good stuff to see, and signs of progress as we get through in 7th place, and actually at qualifying Ricardo, albeit Ricardo on the soft compound tyres, but still it's progress and our first Q3 of the season. So speaking of which, we got out for 2 runs in the session, the first of which was this lap here. Nothing spectacular, but a decent little banker lap nonetheless. We go P9 ahead of Pierre Gasly there, but a couple of mistakes, and all in all a bit of a scruffy lap. So now we're going to ride on board for the ultimate lap here, and let's see what we can do in this qualifying session. with about 20 seconds to go. First of all, turn 1 once again, look for the 50-meter board and attack the apex. It's important to really use the curbs on that first corner. The second one, avoid it. That was much better this time around. Now on the power, through 3, carry the speed. Look at that, just on the limit there, and avoid the green AstroTurf if possible. Braking for turn 4, again using the gears to really rotate the car on the power early on, keeping a tight line, let the car run out wide as we now go down the hill, down a couple of gears. It'll lock up on the front left, losing second gear for rotation, losing the back end slightly also on traction as we now go into the left-right combination again here, really being aggressive, just about in track limits. Turn 9, pretty much almost flat, using 6th gear on the limiter there. You can just hear in the background as we brake late for the hairpin yet again, picking up your apex on the power nice and easily, patience required, and we get a really good exit here and gain quite a bit of time on the deltas. We now feed the car through the right on the power, nice and steady here, and now into the final sort of Mickey Mouse section here. A little bit of patience required to really make sure you get it right. Avoid the curve on the left there, attack the second one, and avoid the one on the exit if possible. On the power early on, about a 10th up here, good improvement so far. DRS open and across the line, and that lap is going to be an improvement, and more specifically for a brilliant 6th place and a fantastic qualifying. Ultimately, I reckon there's about another 10th in the lap, to be fair, if I've got it absolutely right, but all in all, I can't complain, and by far the best qualifying of the season up until this point. And Kimi Räikkönen dominates qualifying, but now let's move into the race.
What does the Spanish Grand Prix have in store for us today, I wonder? I hope we see some tight wheel-to-wheel action down the main straight, circa Mansell and Senna way back in '91, or maybe we'll have a more strategic race here on a track where overtaking can be difficult. The Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya then, a high-speed 2.89-mile circuit which demands an efficient downforce package and bravery on the part of the driver, especially through the blind right of turn 9, which we might just see taken flat this weekend. Anthony Davidson is here with me today. Together we'll be taking you through all the action of this Spanish Grand Prix. It can be hard for the cars to follow each other closely here due to the dirty air coming off the car in front. So perhaps we're looking at a more strategic Grand Prix act. What do you think on that?
I'm not too sure about that, Crofty. I mean, yes, as you say, it's hard to follow around here, but if you're brave on the brakes, you can get the job done down into turn 1, which is a medium speed corner, so you have to be committed. And looking down at this grid today, I think we're going to see 1 or 2 drivers making a move from a long way back, maybe try to force their opponent into a mistake. I don't think this is a race that's going to be purely decided in the pit stops.
With that then, let's run through the grid order. Sebastian Vettel will start on pole. Fantastic qualifying from the multiple world champion, with Esteban Ocon alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Hartley, Martinez and Ricciardo, Hamilton, Magnussen, Gasly and Carlos Sainz. Raikkonen, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Hülkenberg, Valtteri Bottas and Grosjean. Stroll, Sirotkin, Charles Leclerc and Fernando Alonso. Ericsson and Stoffel van Dorn completes the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Right then, here we are on the grid for the Spanish Grand Prix P5. We got promoted after qualifying as someone got a penalty, so we start on the 3rd row still, but a little bit further forward, which is good news, and on the racing line critically, which will help us out get a better start. So hopefully we can have a good race. I'm looking forward to it. I know we've got the pace around here to try and do better. I still believe Raikkonen's lap in qualifying was glitched. So, yeah, with that in mind, I think we can definitely push forward. At best, I mean, I want to at least finish where I start, so I want to finish at least P5, and, you know, I'm looking forward in this race instead of looking behind. In terms of the race strategy, though, as you can see, we've selected the first strategy, supers onto softs, onto mediums, overcast conditions throughout the entire race, with a little bit of sun towards the end, and fuel-wise, we are 1.5 laps over on the fuel. So, a fairly straightforward strategy, so let's just jump into it, and let's see how this race goes. I'm looking forward to it. The first race of the European season, and the first one where I can probably say I've got the genuine pace to challenge. So with that being said, let's jump into round number 5 for the Spanish Grand Prix. Right then, here we go. Let's get the revs up and get ready for the 5 red lights here for the Spanish Grand Prix. Lights out and away we go. Quite a real spinny start, nothing spectacular. We need to cover off the inside straight away. Unfortunately, Ricciardo and also the Haas there both get past me, as does Gasly on the outside. being careful here through the first couple of corners. Ricciardo getting the best start on the soft compound tyres. Surprisingly, fair play, great start. I'm getting a hell of a lot of dirty air here as I wash out wide. Right then, we've got a little bit of sideways action here. Ocon and Hartley going side by side. We're lurking behind Ricciardo. Danny Rick is on the soft compound tyres, so he might be on the back foot slightly. I know that AI is slow out of this corner here when it comes to acceleration. Ricciardo knows that, and he covers me off straight away. I'm going to look for the outside on my teammate. Any room there? Just about, side by side into turn 9. We commit to the inside, and we pull off the overtake on Ricciardo early on. Good move. Up into P5 now, behind Brendan Hartley. Let's see what our race pace is like early on. Hopefully it's decent. I feel confident though. This is a track that I want to perform at and I should be able to perform at. Also, I distinctly remember last season, Force India around here, they struggled big time to find pace. So they dropped off quite dramatically. They qualified really high up, but their race pace wasn't great. So far, we're competing here. Strong race pace. I've noticed my rear tyres are getting a bit warm, especially the rear left. I need to be careful of the tyre. But so far we're looking comfortable. Ricciardo's looking very comfortable on that soft compound tyre. That looks like a brilliant race tyre to be on so far. Rear left already starting to get hot now. As I mentioned, tyre temperatures are a concern. I might have to come in early here and get off of this tyre. This ain't a great tyre to be on. I might even come in this lap and also change my strategy and come in for the mediums this lap. Right, I'm going to come in. The overheating is starting to hurt me already, and I'm dropping off. So before it gets too bad, or I cause a big accident or something, or spin off, which would be even worse, we're just going to come in and play it safe. We're going to have a free pit lane, and a free pit stop to ourselves essentially. No being held up, which is a good thing. So let's just focus on ourselves. 2.3, solid stuff from the boys. Let's just get these tyres up to temperature, and we can basically lean on these as much as we like. I think that's going to be the best option for us strategy-wise here today. So let's get up to speed here. Switch these tyres on, which is going to be a little bit of a struggle at first. Hopefully it takes us like half a lap, and we can try and find the pace and hopefully rejoin ahead of Ricciardo still. Or Ricciardo, I'll say that he's going to stay up for a few more laps. So whoever is behind him, hopefully we can be ahead of him still. Looks like we've got Sergio Perez in the pit lane here for an early stop. And also Raikkonen as well. There he is. Pierre Gasly as well. A couple of early stoppers. They've rejoined on soft compound tyres. Gasly actually come out ahead of me. He was someone that was behind me. So we've lost the position there. Hopefully we can make up for it. He's going to be on cold tyres. And we should be on the back of him hopefully. But I'm not really interested in over pushing this tyre. My left rear has already gone up 5 degrees in that last lap. This is a critical problem. I don't know what it is. Tyre overheating. And I can't do much about it. And it's worrying me big time. Right, a couple more cars in the pit lane now. We've got Brendan Hartley there, got Ocon it seems, Hamilton, and also Magnussen. My tyre at the left rear is already on 100 degrees. This is very worrying early on. And it's not because I'm overheating because of the fast corners. Sure, I am overheating in the fast corners, but it's traction where I'm doing my tyre in. But the thing is, I'm not wheel spinning the tyre, so I don't know what it is. And I'm very, very concerned. Right, plenty of cars in the pit lane this time, including Daniel Ricciardo, who's exiting now. There he is. We're going to be just ahead of my teammate, but he is also on the soft compound tyres. Very interesting strategy from Ricciardo. That was a very early stop to say start on the soft compound tyres. I wonder if he's also struggling with overheating issues. That last lap was a bit better. I had it a little bit more under control. Only went up 2 degrees in that last lap, but it's still a concern. I'm very, very worried. I feel like I'm going to have to drive half a second slower to keep my tyres in the temperature window. Well, Ricciardo's in the back of me here, and I'm not even going to bother fighting him. I'm on a different strategy, and I'm also focused on trying to make basically the strategy work. I can't do an extra stop. Here comes Kimi as well in the Ferrari. He gets the move done quite easily. I'm not going to fight it. I need to focus on myself here, but we're going to lose so many positions. Why is it that I finally have a good race, but tyre temperature is going to ruin it for me? I don't believe it. I'm not happy at all. And we've got Monaco next. That's another tyre temperature issue track. I'm starting to hit the danger zone, 105 degrees Celsius. That's not where you want to be. Here comes Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes. He goes to the left. I go defensive. It's no use. I'm in hot lap ERS mode, so I can't do much more except for going to rich mix. All I can do now is follow these guys, and hopefully, if I can stick with them, when I go into softs later on and my strategy works out, I can try and reel them back in. But right now my tyre temperatures are still going up, and I'm driving at 50% of my pace. I'm driving slow on purpose, and it's still not working. I'm very, very concerned. Yeah, the icon's just starting to go yellow now. 105 degrees is the max I can go. I need to find a way to cool off the tyres, but I don't know what to do. I'm very, very frustrated right now. Yellow flag behind. Looks like Bottas has had a problem. He's pulled over. That is confirmed. More cars in the pit lane here. Here comes Kevin Magnussen. He goes to the inside. I'm going to go defensive. I'm going to try and go on the outside at turn 1 if I can to defend my position. And we do that beautifully. Also, the front left has gone down by a degree. And also the Renault's just pulled off there. I'm not sure what happened there. The Renault has just pulled over. Green flag now seems to have got going again, but a very crazy moment there. And you can see on the minimap that massive train of cars in front of us, which is good news because it means the leaders can't really pull away on that soft compound tyre. Okay, I've hit a sweet spot now. I'm fairly consistent, which is good. I'm keeping Magnussen behind, deploying all my battery on the straight. And we're catching up to the leaders here again, who are currently battling with a slow-moving Sauber, which is allowing me to catch up. So this is working out okay so far. It's actually my left front that's starting to overheat a bit. All 4 of these cars in front of me are the difference between me getting a good result or a bad result this race. So it's good that they're being held up by the Sauber, which by the way is super fast in the straight. This is now allowing me to drive a little bit slower pace, but critically allowing me to cool down my tyres. But I want to try and make some moves if I can. However, I know I don't really have the straight line speed for it, which is kind of frustrating. I've got DRS though, but you watch, Magnussen's still going to start pulling me in that Haas car. And we're doing 330 Ks. It's ridiculous. Oh, and Sauber's run deep. Contact between him and Hamilton. They're both slow. We slip past and get the pair of them. Cheeky little double overtake there. Ericsson running deep. That takes the pressure off from Magnussen for now. Anyway, until Hamilton gets on the back of me. Let's see if we can keep pace with these guys. I'm curious. Here comes Lewis again. We're going to go defensive to the inside. This time Lewis has got a great run on me here. Gets it done way before turn 1, and I'm going to let him have that one. Can't do much about that. I keep having the temperature thing popping up on my screen. I'm getting so concerned. I'm managing to keep the left rear in check, but what's frustrating is I can't push any more than what I am right now, because I've now found my sweet spot where I can drive and control the temperature of the tyre. But if I push any more, I'm in trouble. So this is very frustrating, this race. It's already a write-off unless a miracle happens. Alright, and cars come in the form of Kimi Räikkönen in the pit lane. Also, looks like we've got a Toro Rosso in there, Perez as well. Back up into 6th place. Hopefully those guys get caught up in traffic. That might help me out. We're staying out until about lap 20 here. It's a very long stint on the mediums, but we came in 2 laps earlier, so we need to still commit to the stint length. I was suggested to come in this lap for softs, but I feel like it's a bit of a stretch. I mean, I'm struggling to do 16 laps on mediums. There's no way I'm doing them on softs. Alright, Lewis pits in. We get one last bit of DRS. Also a couple more cars. Hartley in there as well. Ocon as well, as is Sebastian Vettel. So we go into P2 as it stands. It's a Red Bull 1-2. Ricciardo leading the way. The concern now is the front left, which is the one that's overheating. But so far, this has been a good race tyre, I can't lie, because I've managed to find the sweet spot for the overheating, and since I've found that, it's quite nice to drive on. It's very consistent, which is good to know as a driver. And you know where your tyre is and what it's doing. It's nice to know. We're going to inherit the race lead momentarily. It's going to be very, very brief, as here comes Sebastian Vettel. We're not fighting him, so I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to follow him for now. Doing a good job on this tyre, so let's keep doing that. Vettel fastest lap, can't match that. 18.4, doing 20.7s. We've got Sainz and a Haas behind for company. Front left is the concern at the moment. Let's go for a strong in lap here. This is my pit stop lap. Look at that, after 17 laps I'm still on for a personal best. I've been in hot lap mode this lap, and it goes to show I can still push if I really wanted to. And this tyre's on like 50% plus wear. Either way, it's been a great stint. I've recovered nicely from that very poor super soft compound tyre, but we're now going to come in here for my final stop of the Grand Prix. Sainz looks like he's following me in, as does the Haas. So we're going to be competing here in the pit lane. There we go, solid pit entry. Let's save up a last bit of fuel in the RS. Hopefully a nice clean stop from the boys. No nasty surprises. There is a Sauber coming, so I need to get out ahead of that if I can. 2.2, great stop from the crew there, good stuff. And that should see us safely ahead of these guys. And if anything, they're going to get held up by that Sauber. So Leclerc, do me the favour there. Up to speed now. Here we go. There comes Magnussen down the pit lane now, or down the main straight, should I say. We're going to rejoin in front. We're currently P9 on a fresh, soft compound tyre. Can we do anything in this race with the tyre temperature issues? Let's find out. We've got a couple of cars in front of us there. Look at that, 4 cars in front of us there. If we can get all 4 of those, we'll be back to our starting position, and I'll be happy with that. But will we have the tyres for it? Well, we're going to run in hot lap, at least for a lap or 2. I did a purple middle sector without even really pushing, so that's good stuff. Tyres really get up to temperature, which is concerning, but let's forget about the tyres for a lap. Let's try and have a little bit of fun. Alright, this is positive. We're closing down to Brendan Hartley, who I think is holding up the trend at 18.5. That's a strong lap. We've got 1 more of those in hot lap. Tyres already over 100 degrees Celsius. So this will be the last one before we have to start tyre saving again. So let's make it count. Let's close up to that train of 4. Right, another good lap there. Only a 10th up on personal best. We're just outside of a second, but I do think we can stick with these 4 on this tyre. They're not going super fast either, so I think I should be able to run behind them and keep my temperatures in the window. The other problem is that Toro Rosso is fast and it's dragging everyone along on the straight, so we need to get the moves done in the corners. Sector 2 is my strongest point. The slowest corner where the AI are is this next left-hander. They're terrible on traction, so that might be an opportunity for me. So we need to start assessing our options. Right, I can't close up this gap of 1.5. I need to get within DRS, so we're going to crank up to rich mix. I don't have enough ERS battery to use, so we're going to burn off the extra fuel. Hopefully that'll help out also with overall car weight and helping the tyre temperatures. Not good at the moment. The left rear is just constantly yellow, 107 degrees. I need to really cool down if possible. I just need to get within DRS. That will really take the pressure off then. Okay, finally I've got DRS. Let's use up all the engine modes here. Use up my last bit of rich mix to really close up that gap. Both of my left-sided tyres now are just on a permanent yellow. I just can't do nothing about it, no matter how smooth I drive. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I don't want to drive through it. I just can't, even though I've got DRS, I can't close that gap. That Toro Rosso is so fast, and so is that Ferrari. Hamilton's getting a mega double toe, and he's the only vulnerable one out of all those 3 on the straights, which is really frustrating me. Ultimately, I think I can't make it work. I think I'm going to finish in 9th this race. There's nothing I can do. For the first time, this feels like a genuine F1 race, and I know what the drivers feel like now, when you just don't have the power and there's nothing you can do to overtake. Normally it's because of dirty air. In this case, it's because of overheating tyres. I'm relying on Vettel, who just had a look at Hartley there, Raikkonen. I'm relying on more of that to try and get me in the fight. It says a lot of how fast that Toro Rosso is. If that Ferrari can't get past it on that straight, pretty amazing what I've done to that car. Last lap of the Grand Prix. Front left now really screaming at me now. 109 on the limit. This time Raikkonen couldn't even attack Gasly, so we might just have to settle for this now. Right on the last lap. I tried to push the slightest bit. Tyres overheating, and I've dropped out of the DRS. Either way, nothing was going to happen anyway. So Vettel wins the Spanish Grand Prix. We're going to come home for a very disappointing 9th place, it has to be said. Not happy at all. But then again, I shouldn't have even qualified P6. It was very marginal, and I just pulled a special lap out of the bag, but not happy at all. Disappointing. Right, so looking at the final race results, Sebastian Vettel dominates the Spanish Grand Prix, beating Sergio Perez and Pierre Gasly. Esteban Ocon P4 ahead of Daniel Ricciardo in the first of the Red Bulls, who beat Brendan Hartley in P6. And then we have Kimi Raikkonen in 7th ahead of Lewis Hamilton, myself in P9, and then Carlos Sainz rounding out the points. Kevin Magnussen just missing out, and Valtteri Bottas and Sergei Sorokin retiring from the Grand Prix. Nico Hulkenberg 1 lap down, and in terms of the driver standings, Vettel takes the lead after a good run of races where he's been winning in the last few. Meanwhile, Ricciardo overtakes me for P8 in the championship, and in terms of the constructors, we remain in P4 and comfortably ahead of Mercedes, but quite a way behind Toro Rosso. So things pretty similar to last season, but hopefully we can start turning it around. It's going to be a long road. I'm not very confident in Red Bull at the minute. I'm not very happy at Red Bull at the minute. So, yeah, I need to see things start turning around. I mean, there's not much more I can do in terms of what I'm doing at the minute on track. So, Yeah, I'm frustrated. Hopefully it improves sooner rather than later, but Monaco is another tyre wear, well not tyre wear, tyre overheating circuit, so we'll see what happens. We'll try again in Monaco, but we might have to start looking at the one after that to try and score any decent points. Austria, Paul Ricard, those are good circuits, so let's see how it goes. Other than that, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video, but now let's move into the laptop. Right, so here we are then on the R&D screen, and I'm getting a recommendation also from from Carl actually, saying that I should go for this upgrade here for the tyre wear. So we're going to get that on the car, and that will arrive for the next race in Monaco. Hopefully it will improve tyre temperatures a little bit. Overall, I'm not too confident, and we'll see what happens one step at a time. We do have a double upgrade for the next race. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it arrives intact. If so, we should go to the top of the pile, and we're making good progress, but we're going to need a lot more upgrades to really be confident in the package we have. But all in all, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this episode of Career Mode. If you have, then drop a like. Also, do get subscribed for daily Formula 1 content. Turn on notifications to not miss a single video from me. And finally, check out these 2 videos on screen if you have missed them. But other than that, thank you for watching, guys. And I'll see you in my next episode very soon. Goodbye.